So there's your answer. Then we had the Ravens -2 at the Bengals. CB, what were you thinking picking the Ravens?
Um, I have no words.
Exactly. He wasn't thinking. That's all I have to say. The Bengals won and covered 27-24. So now the Bengals and Ravens are tied for the division, I believe. Um, the Bengals might be a half game ahead. I'm not sure. Um, Now the Steelers play the Ravens tomorrow night. So if the Steelers win that, and the Jaguars possibly tie the Bengals or beat the Bengals, then the Steelers will take the division lead, and I will be very happy. Um, so yeah, also big props to the Steelers to demolishing the Colts. Ben Roethlisberger becoming the first quarterback ever to have multiple 500-yard games and was 32 yards short of Norm Van Brocklin's all-time most passing yards in a game. There was 3 minutes left, and they didn't let Roethlisberger throw a single pass. I was very upset. I was yelling at the TV, yelling at Mike Tomlin, trying to fire Todd Haley. But yeah, excellent performance by Ben Roethlisberger. And CB, we know you have a deep-seated love for Norm Van Brocklin.
Do we even verify his existence yet?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
I don't think Gavin Shaw believes he exists yet.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, we had a trivia contest at camp. Or we were playing Stump the Schwab at camp. We were talking about NFL Hall of Fame quarterbacks. It was myself, CB, and our friend Gavin Shaw. And I said Norm Van Brocklin. They both didn't believe he was a real person. So
I don't think Gavin still does.
Yeah, Gavin's in Phoenix right now. He covers the Suns. Shout out to Gavin. Norm Van Brocklin's a real person. And finally, not finally, second to last game. Talking about CB's hypothetical NFC South Jets. The Bills +3 at the Jets. You and Snowball picked the Jets. I picked the Bills, who have the best quarterback in the AFC East, Kyle Lurton. The Bills covered and won 43-23. CB, please explain your pick, because I don't understand it at all.
I liked how the Jets played against New England the week before. I thought they could continue that, throw some more ground and pound. Was expecting a couple interceptions less than 6 and didn't get it. And the Bills were able to demolish the Jets because of those 6 turnovers.
Fair enough. And then finally, we had the Eagles +1.5 at the Cardinals. This was basically just pick 'em. We all picked the Cardinals. Cardinals covered and won 24-20. Just to update you on the season standings, CB is still in last place, 15-23. Any words for that? Any words for that?
No? I started off really well, too. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, me and CB were tied for like the first 4 weeks of the season. Then it all came crashing down. So then we have Snowball in second place. He's still 2 games below 500. 18-20, and then I'm in first place, 22-16. So now on to this week. Cardinals +2.5 at the Cowboys. I don't know why the Cowboys are favored, but we're all going Cardinals, especially if Tony Romo doesn't play. That's just a no-brainer. Now, the Washington R-words at the Minnesota Vikings. This is an even line. Me and Snowball are going Vikings. CB, why are you picking the Washington football team?
First off, I'm down a bunch of games. Second off, RG3 returning. I think that makes them a viable option again. I think Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon should give RG3 some places to throw the ball. I think he'll like that, and I think that'll bring back Alfred Morris as a solid running back this week. He's been struggling a little bit, and I think he'll be able to rebound with the addition of RG3 into that lineup. I'm not a big fan of their defense, but I still think their offense will be enough to win this game.
You think RG3 is going to do decent?
I think he will. I think the fact that he knows that he really needs to play well in order to keep his job now. Kirk Cousins lost the job, but Colt McCoy the last 2 weeks played really well. It shows that there's always someone behind him that's willing to step in, and I think the fact that he hasn't played in so long is going to really want to go out there and prove that he's still worthy of that second overall draft choice, and right behind Andrew Luck that he got a couple years ago.
Yeah, and the 3 first-round picks that the Redskins gave up to get that pick to the Rams. So yeah, I like the Vikings in this game. McKinnon's been great. I really like Teddy Bridgewater. And I liked what I saw against Tampa Bay last week. I mean, they're not really a good team. But they're good enough to beat the Redskins, definitely. Oh, oops, I just said it. Next up we have the Raiders.
You're in trouble.
What? Oh yeah, I am
You're
in trouble.
They're all going to come after you.
All right. CB, now you're in trouble. All right. Well, moving on, we have the Raiders plus 14.5 at the Seahawks. Now CB is desperate for wins. I don't know why he didn't pick the Seahawks, but we're all going Raiders here.
I tried really, really hard. I changed this pick less than 5 minutes ago, but I just don't like this line the way the Seahawks have been playing lately. 14.5 is a huge line in any game. With the Seahawks struggling lately, I think they'll still win this game, but I just trying really hard to bet it, especially in games to go against both of these guys to try and make up some ground. But this was not one of those games where I felt I was able to do that.
That's fair. I think Derek Carr is going to perform very well. They're not going to win the game, but they're going to come. I think they'll lose by a touchdown. So they'll still cover. Is that too ambitious, CB?
No, not at all. It's probably going to be, again, in the 7 to 10 point range. I think Seattle should win this relatively easy, but not 14.5 points easy.
And what do you think of Derek Carr? Because I think he's been performing very well despite the talent around him and not being able to win a game.
You see a lot of these he's the only quarterback that started this season as a starting quarterback from this year's draft class. And so he was a little more he wasn't as game ready as some of he wasn't as prepared as some of the other quarterbacks are coming in. Like Teddy Bridgewater sat the sidelines, got some more practice reps, and he's coming in done decent. So you're obviously going to see the signs of struggle. He's not starting to do a lot better. I think down the road he can be a potential franchise quarterback for that team. That's something that they really need to develop. But it's going to take some time. I don't think you're going to see some more flashes this year. Hopefully he'll take a step forward next year, unlike Geno Smith has been able to do with the Jets. But I think in the end he will be a franchise quarterback for them.
All right. And arguably the biggest game of the week, Broncos -3 at the Patriots. I'm going Broncos. Snowball's going Broncos. CB, why are you picking Tom Brady and the Patriots? By the way, the second best quarterback in the AFC East.
First off, that's a joke. Tom Brady's a better quarterback than Kyle Orton.
This season?
Second off, I again need games where you guys are picking together, and I need to gain ground. But third off, Patriots have had a great record with Tom Brady against Peyton Manning, and at home in Foxborough, and playing really well of late. Certainly a chance for me to make a game up here, and I like the Patriots' chances not only covering but winning this game.
Okay. You know, that's reasonable, unlike a lot of your opinions. But now the actual most important game of the week is Ravens -1.5 at the Steelers. Now Snowball is honoring his word from last year. He committed to picking the Steelers every week from now on. So myself and him, we're picking the Steelers. CB, you're just trying to make up a game here?
Yeah, I kind of think the Steelers are going to cover and win this one, but I think this is a chance where it's at least a fair line, and the Ravens have a chance to cover. So I think this is one where I just had to throw out there the fact that the Ravens would, the fact that I think that the Ravens have a chance to cover and a chance for me to gain a game on both of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Look, honestly, I think the Ravens are a slightly better team than the Steelers this year, but the Steelers are so hot right now. And it's at home.
Exactly.
The Steelers own the Ravens at home. They've beaten them with Charlie Batch. I think they beat them with Dennis Dixon one time, if I'm not mistaken, at home. So that's why the Steelers are winning this game. So we just did get a question. Text in. CB, this one's going to you since you're the baseball expert. Would Madison Bumgarner have won the MVP if Kansas City won the series?
Well, that also depends on a few things. One, does Madison Bumgarner give up the game-winning run in the ninth inning? If the answer is no, and let's say Bumgarner came in when the Royals were winning 3-2 instead of the Giants winning 3-2, I would say he had to. He went out there 3 games, allowing 1 run. Looking up the exact innings right now, but I believe it was 20. I believe it was 21 innings. I'm going to look that up, though.
So your answer is yes, provided he. Well, I would
providing it wasn't him giving up the runs that led to the Royals ultimately winning the World Series. Because again, if it was Alex Gordon that, let's say, gets driven in by, let's say, Hosmer, who made the last out, they gave up a home run to him, then it would have. I don't think he would have won the MVP, obviously. But if he did not give up a run in that last game and then went on to win the World Series, I think he definitely would have won the MVP. There's been a couple people who've done it. I remember Mike Scott, 1986, won the NLCS MVP over the New York Mets when the Mets went on to win the World Series when he just dominated as a pitcher. I think it's much easier for a pitcher to do than a hitter because the pitcher goes out and dominates. It's going to make all the other hitters on the other team's stats look bad. And likely there's not going to be another pitcher who went out and bashed him like Bumgarner did. And there wasn't in this series because Bumgarner would be pitching against the ace of the other team. And it's not likely that a 2 or 3 pitcher is going to even get the innings required to pitch in 3 games to warrant winning the Series MVP. So I think Bumgarner definitely would have won. There's no one on the Royals that stood out to me as potential World Series MVP, especially considering the fact that their pitching staff was atrocious. Was it Madison Bumgarner? I guess you would have to say it's Lorenzo Cain because he played well, but it's not someone who you would say, looking at that series, deserved to win the World Series MVP. You know?
Yeah, I got you. That question coming from Jeremy in DC. Thanks for the question, Jeremy. And we're going to move on to some college football. Now, before we give you all the scores, we are going to run through our top 4 right now. So, CB, why don't you go first?
I obviously have Mississippi State and Florida State. They're the 2 undefeated teams from the big conferences. I have Ole Miss just because I think they're going to beat Auburn tonight. Now, technically, I should probably have both of them. But as a biased SEC hater, cannot put 3 of them in. And I don't think, in the end, 3 teams won't make it because they'll beat each other up enough to where they don't all look good enough. So I'm going to put Oregon in as my 4th team. I think a win over Stanford will help vault them back to the 4th. Right now, they're 5th in the college football. They're right now the playoff committee's rankings, so I think the loser of the Ole Miss Auburn will drop out of their rankings, and Oregon will replace them. I just don't see how you can put 3 teams from one conference in, and I think Ole Miss right now is slightly better, and so I'm going to put them in over Auburn.
All right, that's fair. Now, I'm a Georgia guy. I have respect for the SEC. So I have number 1 is Mississippi State, Florida State. Then my 3rd team is the winner of Ole Miss Auburn. So that's going to depend on tonight. Ole Miss is currently up 17-14 at halftime. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'll give you the final. And then my 4th team is Alabama. I think they'll edge out Oregon for that number 4 spot. Provided, I think a lot of people would love to see Marshall at the number 4 spot. I don't think they played today. Out of it, and I'm pretty happy for Marshall. I don't know about you, CB.
The problem is there's so many good one-loss teams right now. Like I think Michigan